Good afternoon and welcome to another edition of On Point for today, the 16th day of August 2024. My name is Alexis Jeffers, and of course it is my pleasure every Friday to come here and host this show. So it's good to be here this afternoon, and of course I want to greet everyone who have tuned into this show this afternoon on Von Radio 860 AM 93.7 FM. It is one of those programs that lasts for just about an hour. No advertisement, but of course we try to get in as much information as we can. So let me start or get going by shouting up all of the folks who are listening here on the island of Nevis. Of course, all of the parishes, St. James, St. Thomas Parish, St. Paul, St. John's and St. George's, and all of the village and communities in and around the island here who are listening. Of course, we do have followers down there in St. Kitts, and we do welcome our brothers and sisters who are listening to Von Radio and this particular show at this time. Further afield, Statia, Sabre, St. Bart's, French and Dutch St. Martin, of course, U.S. and British Virgin Islands, Puerto Rico, the entire United States from the eastern seaboard all the way across to the west. We do have a large contingent of citizens from the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis who live in the United States, North America on a whole, Canada, the whole of Canada as well. I'm sure every province or whatever the case might be, you'll check in Canada, you'll find any vision or Kiddishan. And of course up in Europe is no different. United Kingdom, you're talking about England, Wales, all of those European countries, France and Germany, and even in Asia, we do have quite a number of followers. Republic of China, Taiwan, we do have students and citizens there. So I have covered as many points on the globe as possible. Even if you want to say Russia, we do have divisions in Russia, Kiddishans and divisions, of course, yes. So that being said, I say welcome, and it is an absolute pleasure to be here, and I will get going here quickly by saying, here on the island of Nevis, we are experiencing a beautiful day. I just came from outside, and indeed there were some showers. And the interesting thing, every time I come to Von Radio over the last couple of months, it's raining when I get to the station. Yeah? So perhaps I should start coming Monday to Friday or Monday to Sunday if we need to get rain, but most time it's falling here in Bath Village, so let me stay over there in Butlers where I am and see how much rain can come over there. We do need it over there as well. But that being said, the showers of blessings are welcome, and indeed the trees, the vegetation will be happy for that, of course, and all of the agriculturists or persons, farmers out there will be happy for the rain. We'll get back to the weather just now, but normally we follow a sort of structure on this show. So let me acknowledge those persons who are in the bereaved column at this time. And I want to start up there in Brickhill. Well, yesterday we were greeted by the sad news of the passing of Mr. Levi Wesley Daniel. Those of us who are from Brickhill area, we would know Levi by his nickname, Tindy Daniel. Tindy Daniel was, of course, a farmer teacher. He worked at the Department of Agriculture at some point. I believe he was either in the Fisheries Department or the cooperatives, but he would have done a number of years in teaching, and those who would have gone to the old Whitehall School, that is up there at Whitehall, and I don't think he would have gone on to the St. James Primary School, but I know for a fact that he taught at the Gingerland High School, we used to say then. Now it's the Gingerland Secondary School. I believe he would have taught history and other subject areas, but I recall history, of course. But Tindy, he was a family man, of course. He was an avid churchgoer as well, too, so he was a Christian. He was a community man, and he would have done so much for the community of Bricklin, the constituency of St. James, and also for the entire island, because if you were a teacher, a school teacher, you would have had the chance to impact many lives, meaning persons would have gone past through your hands, if we put it that way, or who you would have had some sort of impact on. They would have gone on to do so many different things, so many different career paths they would have taken over the years. whether they became doctors, lawyers, teachers, or masons, contractors, whatever the case might be, those persons would have passed through his hands, and of course he would have motivated them, instill values and so forth in them, so they would have gone on to live productive lives. So Tindi certainly would have left a legacy behind in teaching and as a public servant on a whole, and we want to express sympathies to his surviving family, his three children, Kyra, Kylan, and Levi. They're still over there in the Brick Hill area. Of course, I know of one grandchild. If there are more, well, I'm not certain, but I know, of course, of one. That's the grandchild of, or the child of Kyra. Indeed, also, I want to express sympathies as well to Ursula Daniel up there in Canada. That's his sister. And of course, you have nephew as well with Jelani, I recall. But more particularly, the community of Brooklyn will be in mourning today, because of course every day, every single day, you would have seen Levi moving about, whether he was going to do some landscaping work or whether he was going to visit his sister who is now departed, or whether that's sister there in Brick Hill, and whether he would have gone about visiting the other members of the community. You'd have seen him every single day of the year, pretty much. Pass him from time to time as well myself. But that being the case, we want to say that he will be surely missed. And indeed, whenever the time comes for us to go and pay our last respects, we certainly will be there to support the surviving family and other members of the community who are impacted by the loss of Tindi Daniel. Okay, so we'll hear more about that and follow up with that accordingly. Also, over in the St. James, Butler's, Brooklyn area, we would have lost Mr. William Clark sometime last week, I believe, or the week before. But I'm just mentioning that at this point in time. Didn't do so before, but of course I want to express my sympathies to Roy Clark and all of the other surviving members of the family of Mr. William Clark. William would have lived to a ripe old age. I believe he was in his 90s. He was a member of the church that I attend there, the St. James Anglican Church. Of course, when he was up and about, he was one who was active in the church. He used to drive the church bus. He was one who was always involved in the service there in terms of collecting the offering or stewardship, as we call it, and other things like, you know, some of the administrative work of the church. So he was deeply involved. At least he was involved in the community there at Butler's. Once he would have returned from England, where he spent quite a number of years. So William has passed, and we will listen for his funeral service date. As a matter of fact, I have it written down here, the 22nd of August, that is Thursday, this upcoming Thursday, the 22nd of August, at the St. James Anglican Church. The time, sometime in the afternoon, somewhere around 1:30, 2 o'clock. But listen to Von Radio for that announcement, and you'll have all of the details. So, of course, we also had the passing earlier this week of a good friend of mine from down there in Newcastle, Miss Verna Roberts. She would have passed away, and Verna, of course, Verna was a tall lady, couldn't be missed. She had a mouth and a body, of course, and that is how I remember Verna, as someone where, listen, Verna will speak, and she will speak with authority. She was very stern. She would have raised a large family, pretty much on her own as a single parent, grandchildren as well too. And those of you who are not familiar with Verna, of course you must know this fellow they call Botai, George Chapman. That is her grandson. Those of you who remember Lynette Chapman as well. Those of you who know Shoma Roberts, she carries Roberts now. She's married now. Yes, she's a school teacher over there at the VOJN. So those of you who are familiar with those folks and all of the children of Verna, I don't have all of their names here, but I can start calling names because there are a couple of them who are still alive today, and a lot of grandchildren. Georgina, of course, you all know Georgina. and Verna also have great grand as well. Pinky is the daughter of Georgina. Botai has his son as well. So what's his name? Asim have a grandchild, not a grandchild, a child, which is the grandchild of Verna. So it is an extended family, a large family, and it is a family that is rooted and there in the heart of Newcastle, right there on Shaw's Road, and of course in every area of our island and economy there. All of them have had their impact. And indeed, Verna, I think I see the date for the funeral service is somewhere, I believe, on the 7th of September, Saturday the 7th of September. But you'll hear all of the details right here on Von Radio, I'm sure, when the announcement is brought here and aired here on this radio station. So Verna passed away, and we'll just say let her soul rest in peace. But of course, you'll hear more, and of course, we will go out and support the family when the time comes as well too. So we are losing our people. We are losing people every day, every week, every month. But it is a cycle we are going through. A cycle of persons being born, persons living, and person ultimately will die. It is a difficult process, a difficult stage, whereby you're telling someone or telling the surviving family members, how sad it is to lose someone. But it is an occasion on which we all have to go through it at some point or the other. While we are at that, let me say also, I would want to express my sympathies to the Honourable Cleone Stapleton Simmons. Her dad passed as well some time ago, and of course he'll be laid to rest this afternoon at 2:30 over there in Cotton Round at the Methodist Church. Is it Trinity Methodist Church or Clifton Methodist Church, thank you. Clifton Methodist Church right there in Cotton Ground, and it's at 2:30 this afternoon. Those of you who can go to lend your support to Cleone and the entire family, including my friend Duggins. You all know Duggins. Duggins is a masquerade dancer and big drum player and everything. I saw him during Culturama. I'm not so sure if he's still here, but if he's still here, I'll catch up with him a bit later this afternoon as well, because I intend to go there. So accept my sympathies, Cleone, Honourable Cleone Stapleton Simmons, and your entire family. And the support will be there this afternoon as well. Of course, there was a funeral service that was postponed or had to be changed as a result of the weather conditions last Wednesday. So this is the funeral service for Rubelet Atherton that will be held down there at the St. Theresa Catholic Church. That is down there by the old cinema. That will be on Monday the 19th at 10 a.m. So all of us who can go out and lend our support, let us do that. It is important. Listen, if it is one thing you can do for the surviving family, is to suggest and to them that you are with them in their difficult time, but also go out and show the support by attending the funeral service that is to be held. So that is Monday, the 19th of August, down there at the St. Theresa Catholic Church, where we'll go and lend our support to the family of Rubelet Atherton. Of course, all those who are in the bereaved column at this time, we want to express our sympathies. And indeed, I also want to say that when there is death, there is also life. And of course, there are persons who are celebrating at this time. Persons who are out there celebrating a birthday, a wedding anniversary. I don't have any list of persons on my list today. But of course, there are persons. I wouldn't think that there is only one person today celebrating. There are a number of persons who are celebrating today. And I want to express, my best wishes to you and wish you many more years of celebrations, whether it's a birthday or a union, a marriage, that is, if it's a wedding anniversary, that is. So you have that from me. I will also go on further and repeat what I've said from time to time. Go out and celebrate as if it's the last time you're celebrating. But I want to wish you many more years of celebrations. But these days, you're here today, gone tomorrow, and in most cases, you're here this minute and you're gone the next minute. So go out and enjoy as if it's the last time of celebration. Spend as much money as you can on yourself, because you're looking out for yourself. Don't expect anyone to come and make life or the celebration better for you. Start with yourself, and then others will join in. And that's how I want to leave that, yeah? Okay, in terms of the weather, quickly, before I go on to the weather, I am expecting a guest with me today. He's late arriving at this point in time, but we'll continue until he gets here. And as I said that, my guest just walked in as if I had the knowledge that he was there. But anyway, I'll get to my guest in a while. You can make yourself comfortable in the meantime. But I'll get to him and you'll know who he is shortly. But of course, yes, I was talking about the weather situation here on the island, or at least at this point in time of the year. We know we are in the hurricane season, and just earlier this week we were visited by, I would say, tropical storm. Some may say it was just a storm, meaning a tropical system, but I want to call it a tropical storm based on the wind and the rain that we got on Wednesday of this week. Not Wednesday, it was Tuesday of this week. We were expecting just a system to pass through, but there was some minimal damage that was done. At least those of us who have vegetation in our yard, in our backyard, front yard, or whatever the case might be, you would have lost some trees, you would have lost some fruits, you would have lost a few things, yes, because the winds were strong. And I know why I'm taking this route, because sometimes we hear that a tropical system will visit us, and we are nonchalant about it, as if, oh, that is not going to do anything to us. And when you think about it and when you look at the weather report, then it moves from a tropical wave to a tropical storm and then to a hurricane in a matter of hours. And the thing is, we have advanced to the point where we can keep track of all this. But my point is, these systems are changing quickly in a very short period of time. And that is why when you hear an announcement being made, take it seriously. Ernesto was one of those storms that told me on Tuesday morning, never be too complacent about the weather when you hear there's a system coming our way. Because what I saw Tuesday morning, I said, wow, suppose that was a hurricane, a category 1, for example, then it might have done some damage, I don't know. But it was something to behold. Nonetheless, the island of Nevis would have fared well. I will say that the infrastructure on a whole was intact after the hurricane. Yes, we have some potholes on the road because, of course, if a hole was small prior to the storm, then the traffic we would have seen moving back and forth, trucks and everything, you'd have had some opening up of that, that pothole, and people make all sorts of noise about these things. What I can say, though, is that there were no damage of any houses or any of those type of infrastructure. One or two persons may have talked about maybe the falling of a fence or something of that sort, but I will say by and large, the infrastructure here on Nevis, houses, roads, buildings, whatever the case might be, would have withstood the test of this particular storm. And I say this because I know that every effort have been made by every subsequent government to make sure that the rules are followed from the planning department standpoint of it, that every rule is followed and every laws that are on the books are complied with. So it therefore means that we are building better, and we have learned our lessons over the years, from the days of Hurricane Hugo to those difficult times we had in 1995 with those storms, I believe Marilyn and other storms. But we have done a good job, an excellent job here on the island of Nevis to ensure that we are solidifying and shoring up our building and sticking to the codes that are there on the books. So I would want to say, let us continue to be vigilant over the next couple of months. The hurricane season goes down until the end of November, so we have some months to go, and we are not at the peak of the season as yet. So we've had thus far Beryl, Chris, Debbie, and Ernesto. Those storms have passed, not necessarily all of them passing here, but we have had those thus far at this point in the hurricane season. And we have been told that we're going to have an above average season, so it therefore means many more names will be thrown at us. So we therefore need to continue to be vigilant and to continue with whatever preparations we are making, and never stop doing so as well, because you never know. Yeah? Okay, so that's so much for the weather situation, hurricane season, and that is my opening. It took me quite some time, but I was waiting for my guest, who is now here, and I want to turn out to my guest. Friend of mine, he is no stranger to the sporting arena here on the island of Nevis, and he's no stranger to many of us out there. Could be controversial sometimes too, you know, but he knows what he's about, and his controversy or controversial nature sometimes is for things to be better and to make things right. But anyway, that's how I start. Wendell Micey Wallace, welcome to On Point and Von Radio this afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Well, and thanks for coming as well too. I know you're normally on time, but you're just in time. If I were to apply the word time to you, you're just in time. And you can move closer to the microphone so that you're heard, because we want everybody to hear. You can pull it a little closer to you. Yes, good. So you'll be heard far and wide. Yes, so welcome to Von Radio. And like I said, it is my pleasure to host you this afternoon and to have you here with me. And we'll be talking some sports, and more, well, in particular cricket, because that is where your exploits are. But you have been one who have been involved in football and other sporting discipline. But we'll talk about cricket, because you've been doing a wonderful job, in my humble opinion, up there in the St. James area. To be more specific, your home base is at the Viogen Sporting Complex, and I want to talk about that first before we get into the cricket, because you were one who was instrumental in pressing for that facility to be upgraded, finished, and put to good use, which you have done so. Any comments you would want to make regarding that?
Well, I would like to say, well, thanks to the government to really get that, I must say, the pavilion part of it finished. Although there had some work to be done in terms of getting some dressing room that we could host maybe a Leeward Island game. Yeah, that will, I must say, I hope that comes true as quick as possible, because now I'm hearing that the Leeward Island won the tournament will be in St. Kitts. And it would be in St. Kitts because we don't have free grounds here in Nevis. So if we could get a couple more grounds, just like the ETW, with dressing room, that teams could change when it's necessary. It would be very good for the island of Nevis that we could get that part of it thing. But for Viogen, is only that part we're missing right now in terms of down and the play field. You know, we talk about the up on the court.
The court area.
Well, I got to take the blame for that court not, I must say, finishing, because
not finishing, but getting started in the first place. Because
okay, most of the court here around Nevis had an upgrade,
right?
Well, and I insist that we get we call it a tennis court.
Tennis court. Right.
So I said, it makes no sense go upgrade those two courts there unless we get everything in place for one total upgrade. And I will take the blame for that in terms of holding up on that part, in terms of the courts there at VOG and ground.
Well, I'm glad you said that, because I've put that in your responsibility for a number. I don't want to say a number of years, but at least more than a year, 2 years.
We had a couple of people who doing some estimate for us to for everything. So
okay,
that's still taking place at the time.
So if we were to get that done, you're talking of a basketball court, netball court, and a tennis court. And that will then make VOJ a truly sporting facility.
Also the cricket nets.
The cricket nets.
Which we adjacent to the bathroom area there, which already, I must say, compact and level up. Just now get the practice pitches in along with the nets.
Okay. So there's some work to be done up there, at least. But let's go back to the one-day tournament you spoke about. When will that Leeward Island one-day tournament be held?
In November.
In November of this year. Okay. Well, that will be a challenge. So you're saying you need change in room?
Well, it done set for Sinkit. So I'm saying the next time around,
okay.
we want ourselves to be ready for.
Thanks for the clarification.
I must say, when that come around next time,
right,
we are ready. Not we don't have this, we don't have that.
Good. Okay. So, I've made note of that, so at least, well, the thing is, this is being publicized, so I'm sure, you know, my colleagues are listening as well too. And of course, once you mention these things, I would hope they have their pen and their pad handy to jot down these things that I'm jotting down as well too. But we'll continue to press on in that regard, because you've had some training done there, some practice games or sessions there with other teams, meaning from CPL or from...
Well, the Leeward Island team, I think back in 2022, yeah, they had some challenges in Sinkers. And get some phone call maybe just the morning. Well, normally, you know, all the time have everything prepared, ready to go.
Right.
Get some phone calls, say, okay, they want to come over. So no problem. We had about maybe 4 or 5 different practice at VOJ and Leeward Island and Hurricanes.
Right. Okay, good. And that is because, as you rightfully said, that you're like what the Scouts motto says, be prepared, because you're always prepared in terms of pitch ready, grounds ready.
2022 as well. You know, you remember we host a team from All Saints
Antigua.
in Antigua.
That was the Pythons, I believe. Is it the Pythons? The All Saints Pythons or something like that? I don't really
remember the name. Which they were really happy about the facilities in terms of hosting and what's that, and what we did for them they playing the games.
Right. But in terms of the facilities, you'll have to mention some names of persons who work with you, because in terms of the actual surface itself there and the pitch, that is all because of the efforts of yourself, Veli,
Albi, Peter, and a lot of the youngsters. Then there was about maybe 14, 13 at the time. They help in whichever way. The same youngsters that, well, not the, who in the academy now, who done advance into the the New Vision Togetherness cricket team. We have some 19-year-old and 20-year-old there who help them, because we put in 2 pitches there without any cost in terms of we putting. We just ask for the material and we put it in ourselves, just for us to get up something to practice.
And just to show how good the pitch is there, the material or the clay material would have come from down swamp. Down.
Yes.
that we always say that once you use clay from down there in the swamp, then it's an excellent material.
Our material from the Clegot area will travel around the St. Martin. All the pitches in Anguilla, I couldn't say out front. All the pitches in Sinclair that came from the material came from Nevis. Anguilla as well, where we are going to, the material came from Nevis. Right,
okay. We'll talk about New Vision and Anguilla, but I just wanted to set up the conversation based on the facility itself, because to accomplish what we're going to talk about, you must have a facility to engage the young people and to have them, you know, practicing, playing and the likes. So that facility, you have a good surface, you have a pavilion, you have lights there as well, and indeed what we need now is a dressing room, and of course the courts will come at some point once we want to get the necessary estimates. Our bill of quantities done so that we can proceed with that end of it. So now that we are at the point where we can talk about what has emanated or what we have gotten as results out of that facility, we can now look at, for example, the New Vision sporting club or sports club or cricket club, and then of course we can speak about the academy. It's called the Wendell Macy Wallace Academy.
Well, this second name is Austin. So it's WAW, so we call it the WOW Academy.
Oh wow! Okay, okay.
Wendell Austin Wallace Academy, Cricket Academy.
Wow, WAW Academy. Wow Academy, excellent. So the Wendell Austin Wallace Academy, and let me say as well at this point that I brought you here because I myself, I'm impressed by the effort that you have put in, along with all of the other colleagues who would have assisted you up to this point in time, and all this is voluntary.
Yes.
All this is voluntary, because these days we live in a community or in a society where people are putting out their hand and ask me, well, and asking, not me, but asking persons, well, how much you going to pay me for this? And how much you going to pay me for that?
People ask me, how come I ain't charging? I'm telling them, well, I ain't coming to this to make money. I come into this to help the kids around. I got to say around Nevis because we got kids coming from all over. I'm coming from the ground right now. We're doing some practicing towards Anguilla. So we're doing a 4 days a week practice for the next
Okay. So let us look at the academy. What motivated you, Maisi, to at least get this deeply involved? Because if you're saying you have an academy, it therefore means that you understood from the get-go that there are a few things that would have motivated you to do that, and there are some challenges that would come along the way, and you would also have to think about, well, how you would mitigate these challenges. But what would have motivated you in the first place?
I got to go, I must say, way back. And I got to thank Mr. Claxton, Frankie Claxton,
okay.
He had, I must say, he had the one that made a call to me way back. Said, Mr. Wallace, I see you around teams along with Common then helping out.
Right.
I'm sending some players to St. Martin, some under 13. And he said, I wanted to go with Mr. Wake. I don't even remember David Wake. This white guy who always walking around with a bag of football on his back. David Wake.
So he was like someone who came from overseas.
Yeah, and going from primary school to primary school.
I think
he did a brilliant job here in Nevis with football. So he asked me to go in. So 5 years I was going to St. Martin, also to Antigua with the Keighley Shepherd football team. So Frankie, the one who really pushed me into coaching. Then with football, you know, I played cricket, you know.
Well, we played cricket, and I managed, not managed, but at one point I was the president of the what you call it, Highlights cricket and football club.
So there where everything come from, you know, I'm more into the cricket now. I don't know if maybe I played too much football. I spent 16 years playing for Nevis football.
And some championships along the way.
Well, not much in terms of
but for highlights, okay.
Well, for highlights, but for Nevis, the island, I played 16 years for Nevis.
Right.
Non-stop.
Right,
and then maybe I had enough of that, so I really channeled my energy more to the cricket. And then, you know, highlights were around then, so really put myself there. And we had a well, something happened. I vote me to form my own cricket team. I got to say thanks to COVID in that way, because COVID is the one who bring us together. You know, the morning, after morning, we were there when we had shut down. We practiced, we exercising every morning.
Yes.
And that way the club really formed with the togetherness.
Right.
And then the cricket come. Well, I bring the youngsters what I normally have there at afternoon before COVID into the togetherness.
Togetherness, right.
So that's how the New Vision Togetherness.
So we can say New Vision Togetherness have been around for about 4 years. About 4 years approximately, but out of the New Vision Togetherness, then that's where the academy would have been born out of that.
Yes.
Or you call it, you want to wrap it all in one and say New Vision Togetherness and the academy is all one.
Well, in a way it's all one. It's all one because when you go back, okay, you got Kamani Nisbet, Peter Charles, and Tyrell Mills, and Tyree Jeffers.
Right.
All of them have either brother or sister in the academy. In the academy,
okay. And those names that you call, for example, Nisbet, he would have gone from your academy, from your tutelage, or under your management, and he would have reached to
the Leeward Island under 19.
The Leeward Island under 19 team, and he's a fast bowler.
Yes.
Okay. Now Tyree Mills. No, Tyrell Mills and Tyree Jeffers. Yeah. Let's go with Tyrell Mills. He would have gotten how far to this point?
He also played for the Nevis team.
Nevis
in
team.
The Leeward Island tournament. They had a 3-day tournament last year. He played for the Nevis team.
Okay, and I remember when he started as well too back then as a right arm leg spin bowler.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you see, that is the thing that only show you when you got kids around, you cannot say, well, this one is a bowler, that one is a batsman. You got to make sure each one of them do each discipline, and as they grow, you identify which way they need
Right.
to go. When they're at the age that you don't shove them, say, oh, when they'll use a bowler,
Right.
Alexis use a batsman. You make sure them do all discipline, and then as they go, as I say, you're gonna see which way the strength is. Then you'll start to lean towards that as they get older.
Point taken. And then Tyree now, Tyree Jeffers. He's a fast bowler.
Well, he's all around.
All arounder, yeah, because I've seen it, and he has gotten how far?
Well, he played over the cultural weekend for Nevis.
For Nevis.
St. Kitts in the Berry Jowl game.
Good.
So he also reached the Nevis team.
Very good. And then you mentioned one other name.
Well,
Peter Charles.
He has the talent to be there, but it's very difficult to deal with in terms of getting into those, I must say, practice and things.
Right, and Peter is an opening batsman. I mean, I know him to be a...
Well, he used to. Now I put him in. He used to open the ball, he used to open the batting. Now I put him in the middle order.
In the middle order.
And then he's doing some half spin.
Half-spin,
Very
okay.
good half spinner.
Okay,
very,
good.
very good half spinner.
So in terms of persons who have shown that they have the skills, they have the motivation, and they they possess something to tell you that they can go much further. Who are they?
Johnny, Leonora son.
Johnny for Leonora Dinner.
Which
Yeah.
I tell you, have a lot of talent.
Right.
A lot of talent in terms of batting, and he's a very good keeper as well.
Okay.
He will get selected for the under 19, I think 2021, but he couldn't go because of the the restriction he had in terms of not vaccinated.
Right.
So he couldn't go at that time because he was not vaccinated at the time.
Okay. He's here now, though. He's still around the game.
Yeah, he's still around the game.
Still around the game.
Well, he played. He also made his debut there for the culture for the Nevis team.
For the Nevis team.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Very good. So, and then we're looking at who else we have now. We have some very young cricketers.
Well,
what's the name of the chap there for? He opens for the VOJ in school.
Shanda. Shanda's son.
Shanda's son, yeah.
The Mare 20s. Yeah, so at age 12, make the Leeward Island under 15.
Under 15 Leeward
Age
Islands.
12.
Okay, good. At age 12. And there's another young
and then
chap there
you
for
got Deshaun James at the age 11. Make Davis under 19.
Nevis under 19 at the age of 11.
A whole handful of talent there.
No, I have seen him back there in the park. But I almost think that he would have carried his hand all the way through an inning there when I watch him
most
back.
of the innings he carry,
Yeah. So if you want to mention some other names, because I have seen quite a number of talented persons emerging over there under your leadership. So you may want to mention them.
Tijani
for
Philip,
public.
who full of talent as well. That's Mr. Skidderson.
Skidderson,
Yeah. It's a whole lot. And if
you should have walked with the list. You know why I say so? Is because there are times when you mention a person's name, and that is an added incentive for them, because we're looking out for them.
Oh, no, I'm here just calling them, and then tomorrow when I go back there, I'll say, oh, how come you didn't talk about me?
It's gonna happen, It's gonna happen.
Yeah, it's gonna happen. It's just that at the time you can't remember everybody. But I tell you, it's a whole lot of talent I have there. I'm got to be thankful to Derek Parry, Eustace Johnson, who does come there and help me also.
Good.
So I got to be thankful.
Yeah,
Mr. Parry also will be traveling as one of the coach.
Okay. So in terms of the motivation of these young players, do you have any challenges there, or they come because of what you're doing for them, or because of the love of the game? You think that they have the type of motivation at this stage?
Yes, I think they have the motivation because they have a good love for the game right now.
Okay.
I don't know how when they get older, they love some of them. They love but right now they have the love, the passion, everything right there, and that is what is motivating me right now. The love that they have for the game. I might be home. I might see them call me.
Right.
They're coming on the field. Yes, I'm away. I'm doing this. I'm away.
The reason why I ask that is because the persons you're dealing with are preteen or teenagers, right? And there comes a time when some of them may feel like they're not involved or being put to do various things at a given point, or maybe they may fail, for example, in a given match, and they may become demotivated or lose that interest. And I want to know what do you do in cases like that? When do you tell them failure is okay in cricket, and then you come back the next time?
Tell them that you're gonna fail. Right. Failure is in cricket, in any sports that you do. But the thing about it, I play a lot of like pick-up game between them.
Right.
And I don't let one child bat longer than none.
Ah, okay.
If one gonna bat 4 overs, each one of them from 10 to 11 gonna bat 4 overs.
Gotcha.
Even if he out, he gonna bat 11 overs. Every child will bowl 4 overs.
Right.
Sometimes I finish at 2. Over the years, I listen well. Because some, I go practice and I'm not gonna bat it. I'm not gonna bowl it. So then just on the field sitting up.
Right.
That I want. Every child, and you're gonna learn to go over the hand and stop them.
Gotcha.
If I have some familiar, they'll also go over the hand.
Good, good. And that is important because, you know, many of us from our days coming up, we had our challenges. For example, if I were to go back a few years, for example, I played, you know, for trials for the Nevis youth team and also the senior team. But for the youth team, many times when we were done at the park here, for example, things were challenging then. Transportation was difficult then. I can recall.
I know that.
There was a point in time, Lofton James, now deceased, God bless his soul, both him and myself used to get a ride up to Market Shop. And then we'll do the rest on foot to get to Butlers. But he lived in Butlers and I then had to walk on to Brick Hill. And that was a demotivator.
From the football, I used to get a lot of ride to the airport.
To the airport.
I got to get me away from there to Barnaby.
To Barnaby. Yeah. And those were the challenges. And that's why I say at least this ground over there at Viogen, I'll call it Nisbet Settlement, we can say it is a blessing in a large way because, of course, you have the facility there. You don't have to go, unless you're going to have a match in Charlestown. You can do almost everything that you want done right there at the Viogen facility. And that is, of course, a motivator for those youngsters. And then that is why we've been talking about getting that basketball court built again. Because I could recall back in the 90s, when the court was right there in Newcastle before the expansion of the Van Samry out in Newcastle Airport, then that is where we used to play our basketball, and I consider myself a decent basketball than as short as I am.
And then you get that game.
Power forward. Yeah. I used to give people elbow, knock them down and say, well, I'm a power forward, don't come in here with that nonsense.
We play, even by the court at night, we don't play win ball,
we
play volleyball and so on.
Right. So those days when we had all of the necessary infrastructure in place for those sporting discipline, we used to utilize them, and I'm glad that you have certainly taken over. Well, you have taken over Viogen sporting facility like yours. It's yours because you're using it, and that is the bottom line. Yeah. Once it's being used and used for the right purposes, then I am all for it, and I want to commend you in that
I even got to
regard.
say thanks to the community because you know it was a shell that
Right.
we get there.
Right.
We have some things that we get stove, get fridge. People give us. That is what I'm doing there in the community. I get a whole freezer. Well, 2 freezers.
Yes.
I get a new brand chip feed stove, new brand for the, and we create a kitchen there because it's what I'm doing in at the field with the
So it's a community effort when it's all said and done, and that is how we knew it then. And I'm happy to see that at this point in our life, it is still a part of us in terms of the community being involved in what is happening around us. And so, coming out of all this now, I understand you have, a big tour planned. You want to talk about that?
Yes, I'm going to say, my name, Jama Hamilton, father.
Right.
I don't remember his first name, but he carried Hamilton. He's really from Banson.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
He see what I'm all doing over there, and he said, "Why you got a good thing going here?" And we start to talk from one thing to the next. So he hear me talking about going to St. Martin, and then he said, "Why?" It's the thing say he don't have enough that age group, and he said, "Why I could get something work out for you now, Micey." He said, "What?" I said, "Well, he know a guy that doing some along with his son, which they have something in place down there." So he said, "Okay, just give me a week or so." He going back down in a week time, and then he give me a call before he go back down.
Yeah.
He call. He said, "Micey, I want to get everything in place. Tell me when you want to come, and then everything start from there."
Good.
So we start from March, trying to raise some funds.
Right.
I know a lot of people see me going on with the box. Even So at VOJ Sports, there I start.
Right.
I collect $1,700 there.
Wow,
which
okay.
I was proud to say, well, I collect $1,700 just by donation.
Good.
So I went to different sports, and I gotta say thanks to the public, which they really try to help in whatever way they could.
Good. So, and then you've had other games over there, and you've had your sales and everything.
Yes, well, even when I come back to this primary school cricket,
right?
And the PS, I asked them if they're doing anything for the finals. They said, I might say, take the bar, do whatever you could do, and raise whatever fund you could for your travel, which I'm grateful, which it went very well.
Absolutely. And so you're looking at the travel dates or the period of time you'll be in Anguilla, and what do you hope to do when you get there?
Well, we hope to win all our games there. We're traveling on the 26th return on the Saturday, what day that is?
The 31st. The 31st of August, so the 26th to the 31st.
So we'll be playing 4 games, and I have 2 teams, and 13 and under, and under 13.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. You hear the age group? And
so it's 13 and over?
Under.
13 and
you
under?
Could be 13 and under. And under 13. If it's 13, you cannot play for the under 13.
Okay. Listen, let me wrap it up.
It's not difficult.
No, it's not difficult, but when I say wrap it around it, I just wanted to say it again so at least persons who are listening understand. So you'll have 13 and under, and
under 13.
Under 13.
The under 13, everybody there will be.
Right, okay.
Up from 12 down there.
Got you. Yeah. Good. So that is clear.
We're traveling with, in terms of players, 21 players.
21 players.
There are 1 or 2 who under 13 who will be playing for the 13.
Got you. I understand. Okay, very good. So that would be the 26th to the 31st, and you have 4 games in Anguilla.
Yeah, 4 games.
And of course, we can send out the appeal to anyone who wants to come. Parents, I'm sure, would want to come along.
Yeah.
This is the holiday or summer vacation period, right?
Well, Anguilla school open at the same time when ours open.
So all of the children here and there would be on vacation. So at least it would be a good time for them to occupy at least that last week. You can almost call it the last week of vacation.
That's the last week.
Pretty much the last week of vacation, yeah. So that would be a treat. Well, I'll say here publicly, I'm almost 70%. I'm making up my mind, really. I got to look at the schedule, but I would want to go because it's a team, or the effort that you're putting out as well is one that I certainly embrace.
It's not just the effort, I got to be thanks to you, because every Easter you come and you do whatever you do, and every proceed that we make, it go to the club and also go to those youngsters. So I got to say thanks for that. Right,
and I appreciate that as well. I think we've been doing that for about 6 or 7 years now, where we have this Easter weekend cricket fiesta, where we have teams coming from St. Kitts and here on Nevis, and also, of course, you did mention in 2022,
Antigua.
I believe it was when the All Saints team came down. And they went with all of the money, though, unfortunately, but that was an excellent weekend for sure. But my support will always be there. And like I said, I'm about 70% there. But I believe, God's willing, I'll be on that trip with you just to go and lend my support and help with the motivation of the youngsters. It'll be a good trip to go on. So that's Anguilla. And those who are listening down in Anguilla, well, the New Vision Cricket Club or Sporting Club will be coming down to Anguilla for those days, the 26th to the 31st of August, playing 4 matches, and I believe those might very well be in the what's the name of the grounds there?
Ronald Webster Park.
Ronald Webster Park, if it's still called that.
I don't know if the game changed, but that one no, it has.
Okay, so perhaps it would be there. Of course, that is their official ground as well too, and it could be a very good outing for the youngsters. Here's why: they will go down there and play against youngsters their age, and if both islands continue to impress upon these youngsters to continue to play the game of cricket, they would probably meet at the Leeward Island youth tournament level.
Also planning a return trip.
To Nevis?
Yeah, to Nevis.
Right. So. Okay, good. So the point I was making is that they would probably meet their counterparts from Anguilla in the Leeward Island tournament. And then, of course, they may be playing together in a Leeward Islands team. And who knows, they'll probably find themselves in a West Indies team someday. Not all of them, but, those who continue to put in the hard work and press on with the game of cricket. So that is how you build friendship, and that is how you build that competitive spirit when you have games being played with another island, another team, or whatever the case might be. So there can be some huge benefits from that, and that is why I would want to continue to lend my support, and you also continue to press on with them. So that is in my opinion is a huge and bold step to take. And if any parents are going out there and seeking assistance, I would ask the general public to lend their support to this worthy cause.
Right now we have 6 on board who will be traveling.
You're traveling?
Yeah.
I think some parents, though, are already soliciting and asking for support to add to what you have, because the more
we
the
even get
merrier.
some good information there from the thing, because we would be staying downstairs like a community center.
Community center,
And what is so good about it, upstairs the building, they have rooms that
Right.
I must say, that you could pay for. It's
Right.
110 US per night.
Per night, okay.
And they send me some pictures of them. It look like a hotel room.
Got you.
Yeah. They say they have 11 rooms, which is, to what I see, is very good, in good condition and what's not.
Okay.
So if any parents go, they have rooms there if they want to stay upstairs, because they're right above the team
Right.
right there.
And more than likely, this facility would have an area for preparation of meals and so forth.
Well, we
more than
also working with a cook.
a cook.
Yes.
Right.
And everything done back.
You're taking the whole outfit
Yes,
with you.
because easy for, I must say, you got to buy
Meals every day.
every
Yeah.
day, morning and afternoon.
For that amount of,
that
for
amount
21, for 21
Yeah,
pounds,
so-
you know. I see what you mean. No, that sounds good, and it sounds. Listen, this brings me back to the old time days. We used to travel back in the days of highlights. Gone to St. Kitts to Tortola. Well, I didn't go to Tortola, but you know.
But if you're going to talk about then, remember we take a team to Orlando.
Right, and
take
I
a
was
team to
on that
Trinidad.
side of the world at that time.
To
yeah.
Trinidad, we
Yeah.
went to Antigua. We traveled several times to St. Martin to play cricket.
Right. So highlights have always been a team. And I must give credit to Empire as well. Empire Cricket Club,
Empire has
because
traveled a lot too,
they
as
have
well.
traveled a lot. I can't speak to team from Government Road here, All Stars and others, but I know for sure highlights have always been a team that have gone out and flown the flag of Nevis, as you said, in Orlando.
Two teams we take to Orlando, 2 teams we take
Two teams.
to Trinidad.
Right.
Yeah, male and female.
Wow. So
Yeah.
so those good days, we can always say that we're not attempting to rekindle but to carry on. But this time with the New Vision
Yeah, we're gonna
Sporting Club.
transfer that. Well, if don't transfer, we're gonna make our first step,
Uh-huh.
and this next weekend
Mhm.
to Angola, and then from there only better we could get.
Only yeah, because I think you owe the All Saints team a return visit maybe at some point.
Well, next year for the the academy, I'm looking at maybe Antigua.
Right.
At Choice and Martin, the age group, they don't have a team. That age group.
That age group, okay.
But next year there will be some of them will be 14, some will be 13.
Right.
But I'm thinking about Antigua, which I know I will get a team there to play against. So
Yeah.
next year I'm looking at, if not next year, maybe the year after. But for sure, I'm gonna see what we could do for next year.
Next year,
towards
okay.
Antigua.
Well, we appreciate that very much, Moisey, and we appreciate the work that you're doing. And of course, you do need additional equipment over there, of course. Some time ago, you were supposed to get a bowling machine. What we can hear about
Well,
that?
every time I think about that, it really, really troubles me. Because I got to say thanks for the government again. I write a letter to the government for assistance in terms of the machine.
Uh-huh.
They gave me a check for $6,000.
Uh-huh.
Well, when everything was put in place, when they called me, asked me, I tell them to write the check at the time, because when I present the letter, it was when the Wallace on it.
Right.
I tell them, well, I have access to the account. At the time, I'm going to say, I was running highlights. So I tell them to write the check in highlights then. That check was written to Highlights International. That went on the account. I'm sure about 100% of it. We have some differences. I went my way. But the check that I get was to purchase a bowling machine, not for Highlights International,
Right.
not for Wendell Wallace.
Right.
It's for
For
the ground. Because
ground,
at the
right.
time the ground was doing some renovation in terms of getting the pavilion and everything.
Right.
When I talked to, at the time, Miss Brandy, talked to them about everything. Even the bathroom, there was no shower. Talked to them about the bathroom, I talked about the bowling machine, everything came. It's just that we were supposed to purchase the machine. The different letters that I sent out, I've done me collect at least $10,000 towards the bowling machine. Up to today.
The longer the short is, no bowling machine is there.
Come to the ground, ask some question, not getting no positive answer. And we could do right now with that machine.
Well, we'll have to press on in that regard. I'm not so sure where you'll get to if you were to start to press on and press that matter any further. What I'll say to you is that we can look at other options to see what we can do to get a bowling machine. You have asked me about helmets. You have asked me about batting tips gloves, and batting gloves, or the tips we call them. Those things I've done some inquiries about, so we'll have to press on in that regard and see if we can get those in short order, because those are important pieces of equipment in the overall scheme of things when it comes to cricket.
The bowling machine. Me now, sometimes, not every day, Mr. Johnson, Mr. Pai is here with me.
Right.
Because sometimes we got at least 25, 30 kits. I might be doing some showdown at the time. And I got to throw at least 30 balls to each kid. How long am I going to last with it?
But it's also consistent with what is happening throughout the world. You know, I mean, it's a matter of making things easier for those who want to be there to practice at a given time. You see videos of what goes on in England, what goes on in Australia. A person can go to a batting net or practice net pretty much by themselves and program the machine so that the balls come out accordingly.
I must say everything reach up to 10 because they have this thing you call a feeder.
Okay.
That one person could have go there at any time and practice by himself because you got this mesh thing that feed the machine the ball.
Right. Yeah. So okay. That is something we have to look at another time, Micey. So yes, we're almost out of time. It's 2 o'clock is when we cut off here. We can stay here and discuss further, I'm sure, but we have done a good job in terms of covering a lot of information here this afternoon. I want to remind the general public here and in Anguilla that the New Vision Sporting Club or Cricket Club will be coming down to Anguilla. And the WOW Academy, all wrapped up in one. The Wendell Austin Wallace Academy and the New Vision Togetherness Club will be coming down to Anguilla on the 26th of August, and they'll be there until the 31st of August, and you'll be playing 4 games. More than likely is at the Ronald Webster Park, unless there's another ground.
The centre is next to the same park.
The centre is next to the same park, but of course more will be said as time goes by, because still a few more days before you roll out. So I want to wish you well. I want to thank you first of all for coming. And if you want to have any parting words, we're wrapping up in a minute.
Just like I said, thanks especially to the buses that in St. James's. They're doing me a very big favor. Once you got on the academy shirt, you travel free on the bus. Once you come into the practice, going or coming. Good. It's all the bus in St. James's doing that for me. And I've got to be grateful to them for that.
Excellent. Yeah. And so I want to thank you, Micey, for coming. And of course, anytime you want to come back, we are always here. We can talk about
the last thing, and the academy will do the official launch on Saturday at the ground.
This Saturday?
Not this Saturday, the 25th.
The 25th, okay.
At 9:30 Saturday morning. We'll make it official launch of the Cricket Academy on Saturday.
So that's the 25th of August. The Wendell Austin Wallace Cricket Academy will be launched over there at the VOJ Sporting Facility. Okay, so we'll hear more about that as well too. But I want to thank you for coming once again, Micey. We're out of time, so we need to get out of here now. I want to thank everyone for listening as well. This has been another edition of the On Point show for today, the 16th day of August 2024. I want to say to everyone who are listening, if you go to church on a Saturday, go to church tomorrow to serve your God. If you go to church on a Sunday, please do likewise. And I want to thank you. May God continue to bless all of us here on the island of Nevis. Bless the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis as well. And with that, I want to bid you goodbye until another time. Thank you.
opinions expressed on the preceding program were solely those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect the views of the Nevis Broadcasting Company Limited or its advertisers.
You're listening to Vaughn Radio from the Federation of St. Kitts Nevis.
It is now 1 minute, moving away from 2 o'clock.